Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. Today we are doing Greek baked cod with feta smashed potatoes. We're going to go ahead and start with the potatoes. So you're going to take your cold potatoes and get a fork and we're just going to kind of poke some holes in them. And this will make it a little easier to get them to steam here in the Magic Chef here in a second. So once you got all your potatoes poked, I went ahead and did some ahead of time. Because we didn't need to wait for them to microwave while we're doing this. Wrap them in plastic wrap. If you don't trust plastic wrap in the microwave, 2 damp paper towels on the top will work just as well. Microwave them for 8 to 10 minutes on high. If you do plastic wrap, be very careful when you take the plastic off because it trapped in all the steam. That's how you cook the potatoes, is with steam. So we got our potatoes here. I'm going to take them. They're hot, so you want to be careful. I'm just going to put them on a foil wrapped baking sheet. And we'll move this guy out of the way because it's hot. And you can just take the spatula out of the potato masher, and we're just going to kind of smash the potatoes a little bit. So we're just kind of smashing them down. And the reason we put them in the microwave first is that makes them a little soft and easier to deal with. This big guy might not smash as easily. No. But we will. I'll show him who's boss. Oh, take that potato. So if you got a big one like that, you can kind of cut it in half, and it'll be a little easier to smash. And we are going to put these guys back in the oven, so if it's not completely cooked, it'll be alright. It'll finish cooking in the oven. And we kind of want to smash them a little bit. And this is going to give us some nice crispy edges whenever we put these in the oven. So what we're going to do first for our smashed potatoes, we're going to take 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, slice them up. So it's going to chop them up real quick. So there are 2 slices. You can chop them as big as, you can leave them kind of big slices like this, or you can chop them up a little smaller. I'm going to leave them a little bit bigger like that. We'll add them to a little dish here. Then we're going to take 4 tablespoons of olive oil. You just need about 3 to 4. I got my salt and pepper mixed up already, some oregano. Then I want to take a lemon and we want to zest it. You want to zest it first because that way it'll be easier to juice here in a little bit. So we're just going to zest this right into the little bowl here. If you don't have a zester, it'll be alright. This just adds a little extra flavor. So, if you're not a super fan of lemon juice, or lemon flavor and stuff, you can leave the zest out and it'll be alright. But you want at least the juice, because it does add a good bit of flavor to the potatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and stop zesting there. Cut my lemon in half. Kind of squeeze it right in there. If you got a citrus juicer, put it in there, you can do that. It will put the juice out of the lemon nicely. And be careful whenever you do use fresh lemons that you get all the seeds out. I think I got 1 in there already, so when I mix it up, I'm going to make sure to get that back out. Just going to give this a big mix. And then we're just going to kind of drizzle this over top of the potatoes. This is going to give it a bunch of flavor whenever we put it in the oven. So I got my oven preheated to 400 degrees. That lemon seed I thought was actually a piece of garlic, so that should be alright. So we're just going to put this in the oven now for 10 minutes. So I'm going to put this in the oven. I'll be right back. I'm going to set my little owl here so I know who's watching the oven. I'm going to get these lemon seeds out of the way. We will add the onion and the feta cheese here in a little bit. So we'll cut that up in a second after we get our fish going. I'm going to go ahead and start heating up my pan. Alright, I got that on medium high, and I'm going to start making my dredge for my fish. I got a fourth cup of all-purpose flour here, and I'm going to add my salt and pepper to my flour. I'm going to add my garlic powder, my onion powder, and give this a big mix. This way we get all of our spices evenly distributed throughout everything. I'll go ahead and add my oil to the pan so that way it can start heating up as well. And I got my cod fillets here. They're defrosted, so they're good to go. It's going to dredge them on all sides in the flour here. Make sure you get all of them in there. By adding the seasoning to the flour, you don't have to add it straight to the fish. So that way it kind of cooks right on there and everything gets nice and tasty. And we'll get this last one here. And now we got everyone nice and coated. You can easily do this with your hands. I was just kind of using these tongs to keep my hands a little cleaner. My oil feels pretty hot, so we're just going to take a piece of fish. And you kind of want to hear it kind of start to sizzle a little bit. This didn't quite sizzle, so we're going to give this just another couple seconds to heat up, and then we'll start cooking it. Because when you do the flour, you want to make sure you got nice hot oil so that way it can start kind of searing and frying around the edges, and you get a nice little crust on there. So there's a little bit of flour in the pan. We'll kind of wait for it to start bubbling a little bit. And then once it starts bubbling, we should be good to fry. We're just going to do a quick little shallow fry or pan fry here. No need to get out a big deep fryer for this. There's a couple tablespoons of oil, and you'll be great. So we're going to make a nice little pan sauce here too. So our oil's sounding like we want it to. Just going to add our fish here and let that cook. We want to do about 3 to 5 minutes aside. Once we've kind of put it on once we flip to the second side, we can add our little marinade here or sauce. We got 2 tablespoons of olive oil, teaspoon of parsley, teaspoon of oregano. We're gonna add some lemon juice to this as well. This is kind of like making a little vinaigrette. I always like to kind of roll my lemons out and squeeze them a little bit. That'll make them a little easier to juice. Squeeze that right in there. Again, be careful. Watch for your seeds. That way you don't eat them. Add a couple fall out. So we will get those seeds out of there. Come here, guys. I had a couple fall in there, so I'm just going to fish them all out. Trying to save my herbs so they don't disappear with the seeds. This one had a lot of seeds in it. Alright. So we got our little olive oil lemon juice mixture ready to go. Actually, we need to add some fresh chopped garlic to that, so we're going to go ahead and chop that up too. See a little better. So I got 2 cloves of garlic here. I'm going to chop this up real quick. And then we'll add that to our lemon juice and olive oil with the herbs. Just getting this nice and chopped. If you don't like chopped garlic, you can easily just put some garlic powder in there, and it will add, you know, that nice garlic flavor that you want. We'll add our garlic to it. Give this another big stir, and that is now actually all set. So we're going to check our fish real quick. Starting to get a little bit of color on there. That was the last one I put in, so we'll kind of see how this first one's looking. So we got a little brownness on there. We want to get just a little more. We're just going to let those go and see how they look in just a second. Kind of clean up this little bit of mess here. This is a pretty easy, pretty quick recipe. So I think we'll give that a little flip because it will brown up a little bit more when we add it to the oven. So our fish is flipped. We'll give it a minute here. Then we'll add our little oil mixture. Then we'll put this in the oven for just a couple minutes, and then we'll actually finish cooking in the oven. That's why it's pre-baked cod. If you don't want to put it in the oven, you can easily just finish it right in the pan, and then in the last couple minutes, just drizzle the oil mixture on top, and it will do the same effect. The trick will be kind of like whenever you put the potatoes in for that last 5 to 10 minutes, you can put your fish in then, so that way you pull both of them out right at the same time, and dinner is ready to go. So that's just a little fun trick to do to kind of time everything up, because we got the potatoes in the oven already for the first go around. They got another 3 minutes on them, so we'll take those out. We need to cut up our onion. So I'm just going to cut the root in, or sorry, the stem in off the onion and peel it. I won't leave this whole because I want to kind of do the little onion rings on it, because they'll just kind of look good for presentation. So it's going to peel the outside of the onion off. It's a little harder to peel the whole onion because it's a little hard to get that initial first peel going. You don't have corners to work with. Come on. And this one's kind of bad on the first layer, so we're going to go down just a couple layers, cut that off, and this onion looks a lot better now. All right. Clean this up a little bit. It's easier to clean as you go, so that way when it's time to eat, you don't have that big of a mess. And you guys are here right now. My old roommate is filming and he's chuckling because at home I didn't always clean the kitchen up after I used it. And we're just going to try to cut thin onion rings out of here as thin as you can. If you have a mandolin at home, you can use that. I'm just using a knife, just kind of cut some thin onion rings out of it. And if you don't get them, it's all right. These are still going to taste great and give you exactly what you want, because they're just going to get some onion flavor. And just doing the little rings like this, it's just a cool presentation. So you can easily dice the onions as well, and it'll be all right. So I think that'll be enough onion for us. See how our fish is looking this time. Fish is looking good. We're going to leave that alone. I'm going to go ahead and get my potatoes out of the oven because it's about that time. Oh, I can smell these. So they're already looking good. You can start seeing a little crispy edges starting to form. So we're going to take our feta cheese, just kind of sprinkle it all over. And then we'll take our onion rings here, kind of sprinkle those all about as well. Again, you can do as much of the onion as you want, or as little. I did have a lemon seed get out or get missed by me. So that's looking good. We'll throw that in the oven here in a second. Get a couple onion rings over there. I'm going to take my little drizzle here, and we're going to put both these back in the oven. Turn off your heat. Got the first pan in. Then we'll take the potatoes here. Remember, this pan just came out of the oven, so it's going to be really hot, so don't grab it with your bare hand. I've done it several times before, and it's not fun. Sorry, my recipe stuck to my pan a little bit. So now we're going to set our owl for another 10 minutes so I know who's watching it. And when that comes out, we'll be ready to eat. Now that our timer is done, we are going to get this out of the oven and it's time to eat. These potatoes look awesome. That cheese started to kind of caramelize on there. Everything, you all can just smell this right now. So what we're going to do is just kind of take some of the potato here. If I can get it to come off. Take some potato. Take a piece of fish here. I'm going to go grab a spoon and we're going to ladle a little bit of this sauce over top. So we can kind of tilt the pan, kind of mix all that up so that way you get all the herbs redistributed throughout the oil. I think that just drizzle that right over the top of the fish. There's a little bit on the fish that's still in the pan, so that way it gets some love too. Kind of hot. And there we have it. We have Greek baked potatoes with feta, Greek baked cod with feta smashed potatoes. I was trying to get a piece of the feta off that foil to put on there. Ta-da! Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you next time.